Hello guys, welcome back to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we will talk about very important primitive data type called string. This is another data type that you will use a lot in your real-time applications. So let's go ahead and take a look at what string is. So anything that you write inside of a single quote is considered as a string. So no matter what value you are written inside of a single quotes, as long as they're inside the single quotes, that makes it as a string. So here I have taken a couple of examples to illustrate what a string is. So the first example here is I have created a variable called name1. The data type of the variable is string, and this is the value of the variable. Note the single quotes that I have. So anything that you write inside of single quotes will make it as a string. So name1 is a string. Similarly, there is another variable I have created called name2, and the data type is string and it has a value of 100. But this 100 is different than this 100. So if you just write 100 without the single quotes, then this becomes an integer. But if you have covered this 100 with single quotes, now this value becomes string. Similarly, there is another variable called name3, and the value of the variable is false but is inside of this single quotes. So if you have written false without the single quotes, then this is going to be equals to boolean. So the data type of this would be boolean if you have written false. But if you have covered this with single quotes, if you have written the value false inside the single quotes, now this value became a string. So always remember, no matter what the value is, it looks like a number, but it's not a number if there is quotes around that number. Similarly, we have name4 is another variable which has a value of cloud parley, and it is inside of this single quotes, so that's make it as a string. Now what happens is when you store a string, let's see how it gets stored. So when you store a string, it gets stored with, let's say, if I have created a string called cloud parley. Now how does this cloud parley get stored? So in this case, what will happen is every character will go at a particular index, and indexing in string will start from 0. So C will go at the index of 0, L, the next character would be at index of 1, then O would be at index of 2, then U would be at index of 3, and so forth. So it will go up to cloud parley. So this is how the indexing happens in string. So if I say, what is the index of O? So there is a method available in the string class called index of. This is the name of the method, index of. So if I say, give me the index of O, and you have put the letter O here, so what will happen is it will give the value 2 here. That's the indexing. Similarly, let's say I have created a variable S1 is equals to hello. This is the value of the variable hello. Now, how will it get stored in the database? The H will go at the index of 0, E will go at the index of 1, L will go at index of 2, another L will go at index of 3, and O will go at index of 4. So if I ask you, give me the index of, there is an index of Give me the index of letter O. What will be the output? It will say 4. That's going to be the output of the program. The index of the O would be 4. Index of L would be 2. Index of E would be 1. So this is the method that is available which can use if you want to figure out what index that particular character is at. Another important thing is you can add toString as well. So what do I mean by that is, let's say we have created a string variable s1 which is equals to Pragya. This is the value of this variable s1. Similarly, let's say then we have a semicolon. Then we have another statement saying s2 is equals to Sharma. So this is the another variable which has the value of Sharma. Now what happens if I say s1 plus s2? Now the output of this program would be, if I say s1 plus s2, let's say system.debug and I print the value of s1 plus s2, the output would be Pragya Sharma. That's going to be the output of the program, because this is also called the concatenating of strings. You are combining these two strings. Now let's say another example. Let's say the string s1 has a value of 100. It's in a single quote, so it makes it a string. And there is another string that I have created, s2, and it has a value of 50. And now I am saying s1 plus s2. What do you think what will be the output of this program? In this case, do not consider them as a number anymore. They are not numbers, they are string. So whatever happened to the previous example, the same thing will happen. So the output would be 150. This is going to be the output of the program. Now, another method that we have in the string class is called equals method. Equals. Now, what does this method do? It basically checks if the two strings are equal or not, and the output would be in a boolean. So if the strings are equal, it will say true. If the strings are not equal, then it will say false. For example, I have created a string s1 is equals to hello. And it also looks at the case if it's a capital letter or it's a small, and both of them are considered different. So if it is in a capital letter and you have created another string with small letter, then in that case you say s1 equals s2. In that case the output would be false. So let's say s2 here equals to HELLO. So every letter is in capital letter, and this is only H is in a capital letter. So if I say if S1 dot equals to S2, what will be the output of the program? Output would be false. Okay, output would be false because the case doesn't matter. Even both of them say the word hello, but they don't match. Similarly, let's say we created another variable s1 is equals to Pragya. This is the value of the variable. This is the value Pragya. And then you have string s2, and the value of this variable is, let's say, Pragya also, and it's in capital, both of them. Okay, both of them are in capital letter. So it's exactly the same, even the case matches. So now if I say does s1 dot equals s2, Now in this case, the output would be of the program would be true. So if I say s1 dot equals s2, so there are a lot of different methods that are available in string class and we'll discuss them. There is one more method that I bring your attention to. It's called the compare to method. It is little different, so that's why I'm covering. Now what does this compare method does? As the name indicates, this method compare two string lexicographically in the dictionary order. It will compare. So what do I mean by that is, let's say we have a string called A, B, C, D, and there is another string called E, F, G, H. Now this comes before in the dictionary, all these four characters, and this comes after, right? So if I say, let's say this is equals to this is S1 and this is S2. So S1 is equals to ABCD and S2 equals to EFGH. And if I say S1 dot compare to S2. So in this case, what will happen is it will return me a negative value because S1 is less than S2. So in this case, it will check. Is S1 compared to S2? It's negative because ABCD comes before and S2 comes later. So this is the method we have now. We will talk more about methods in the upcoming tutorial, but understand methods still do something. So what does this compare to method is doing? It is comparing two strings and it will give you a value and it will return you a value in an integer data type. Now integer data type means it will either give you a positive number or a negative number or a zero. So if it is resulting in a negative number, that means a negative number will be returned if the string that call the method lexicographically precedes second string. Okay, so let's take a look at here. String S1 is equals to ABCDE and S2 is equals to FGHIJ. Now if I say S1 dot compare to S2, it will check is S1 comes before or it comes after. See, all the characters in this S1 comes before then the FGHIJ. So in this case, how many characters are there? Total 5. And all 5 comes, right? So in this case, the output of the program would be -5. It will return you a negative value. A negative integer if the string that call the method lexicographically precedes the second string. So it will return you a -5 in this case. Now another thing is if you called S2 dot of compare to on S1. So they both are different. This S1 dot of compare to S2 and this S2 dot of compare to S1. So does S2 comes before S1 or it comes after? So all the characters in this S2 comes after the S1. So in this case, it will return you a positive number +5. Okay, it will return you 5. So if both of the string are equal, in that case, it will return you the letter, it will return you the number 0. That means both of them are equal. So this is how the compare to method works. Now in the next tutorial, we are going to take a look at all these different methods and how do they actually work, how to call them, and what each of the method does. So I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye. Have a good day.